is a 3-pound CCD camera from 2001 with 3 megapixels any good anymore? Let's find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Carmine from New York, photographer here in Manhattan since the 70s. This is photo class number 406. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and comment below if you have ever used this camera, the Nikon D1H. H stands for happy, I guess. Guys, this is the 2001, formerly $4,350 3 megapixel CCD DSLR from Nikon. Yes, you heard right. 3 megapixels for $4,350. Maybe because it gave photographs like this. Let's take a look at our new screen. Guys, I've upgraded the studio to add a few things. For example, this is the U-Perfect portable 18.5-inch 1080p portable monitor. It's model number M185T01. Not from a sponsor. I purchased it. Next, it's being held up by this. See this articulating arm? It's a floor stand. It's the Blue Sue 11-pound base floor stand. The monitor is being held up by this grip. The top of the grip is here. The bottom of the grip is here. It's a big spring clamp. And I think it'll be a nice addition to the studio. Oh, what's that? That's the 100,000 subscriber play button award from YouTube. Thanks to you guys. All right. So let's just take a look at a few photographs. Okay. Now, before you guys say anything about you can't see the full photograph filling up your screen, remember, YouTube downgrades the definition of the photographs on YouTube to make everything run smoother. So the full resolution photographs of today's episode is on my website, CarmineTaverna.com. You can go there and it's the full resolution photographs. All right. So while you're looking at the first photo that was taken with this camera, let me tell you the 2 lenses I used, okay? The first lens was this one. This is the Nikkor 50mm f1.4 autofocus. Look at the front and rear element on this thing. Just look how beautiful it is. All right. And the second lens I used was this Nikkor. This is the 1.4D 85mm autofocus Nikkor. Okay. So I'll tell you which lens was used for each photograph on this very 3-pound Nikon D1H with the 3 megapixel CCD sensor. So while you're looking at that, let me just tell you a few things. The camera was made in Japan in 2001. It's an aps-c size crop sensor. Okay, so all the lenses, right, get multiplied by 1.5. So the 50 becomes a 75, etc. All right, how did I take these photographs? Well, first of all, they were taken on a CF card. All right. The camera holds 1 CF card. I like to use the low gigabyte ones, 1 gigabyte, on these older cameras because it just works so much better. And 1 gigabyte cards are so inexpensive, you could have 5 or 6 of them in your pocket. Okay. One thing you have to know about any 3 megapixel camera is you have to get your cropping done in the camera. There's really no cropping because when you do crop, you get a lot of noise.
But with this
camera, the CCD sensor is so beautiful, you don't have to worry about colors. Look at these colors. I shot them all in RAW, so these are just the JPEGs from the RAW with light editing. You really should edit all your pictures as far as brightness, or maybe I added a little saturation, or maybe a little contrast. Okay. The photographs were all taken at these settings, ISO 200, which is the lowest ISO you can use on the Nikon D1H, because the ISO range is 200 to 1600. I used aperture priority, which is set very easily on top. I used either f8 or f1.4, and it's very easy to tell by the photographs which f-stop I used. There's only two choices, f8, right, because it's the sharpest, f-stop on any lens, and 1.4 if you want to lose a little sharpness but gain beautiful blurry background, also known as bokeh. This is very important, and it must be disclosed when I'm showing, or any YouTube photography channel is showing, older cameras. It's about the battery, all right? The battery for this Nikon D1H takes the EN4. The EN4 battery is not a lithium battery. It's a nickel metal hydride. It takes almost overnight to charge. You would plug it in here into the MH16 charger, which is this monster right here, right? One end is the cord that you plug into the battery, and the other end of the charger plugs into your wall outlet. And then it tells you on it if it's charged or not. This is old technology, okay? Remember this. These replacement batteries cost $65 each from third-party manufacturers. Now, I did find a seller who's selling two of these batteries for $35, okay? So you can get four of them for the price of one that you would find locally, all right? I found AliExpress was selling two of these for $35 shipped from China to the United States. One reason Nikon had to charge so much for these batteries was because every battery came with another battery door, okay? These are screwed on, so if you buy 5 of these batteries, you'll have 5 of these battery doors, okay? So that added to the expense, but what makes them more expensive now is that nobody's really using them anymore. So, when you find one, you're going to pay for it, all right? But try not to buy a $65 battery if you can help it. Look for this camera that comes with a battery and a charger. The charger is going to cost you $100, and the battery is going to cost you $65. But guess what? The camera sells every day on eBay in working condition for approximately $200. Okay? Keep all these numbers in mind if you want to buy this gigantic camera. This is not a battery grip. This is not it on. This is all part of the camera. This camera has 3 screens. It has your viewing screen on the back for your menu and to check out your images, right? It has a little screen on the bottom that tells you your ISO, etc. And then it has a screen on top right here that you could just glance down quickly. Oh, I'm on f-stop this. I have this many frames left. What's my shutter speed? My focusing dot is in the center, or I'm high or I'm low, etc. Okay. It has everything a professional photographer needed in 2001. This was their professional camera. So in 2001, if you were a wedding photographer or if you were a photojournalist and you wanted to switch away from film, this is the camera you were buying. And the clients were very happy with the photographs. Let's just keep going. Okay? Really beautiful photographs. All right? The photographs you're looking at on the screen were all taken with this camera. Okay? look at the colors, look at the blues. You really can only get that with a CCD image sensor. Am I partial to CCD? Obviously. I do have CMOS sensor cameras and I love them too. But there is an emotional feeling. There's a feeling when you look at photographs taken with a CCD. One group of photographers in 2001 that were buying these up like they were free were photojournalists. And here's why. And sports photographers. Because this camera took 5 frames per second, but it had a 40 image buffer. That's pretty darn good. That's why people were buying the D1H. 5 frames per second, but it had a 40 image buffer. That means you could take 40 photographs before it stopped because it was still loading to the CF card. So these pictures I took on Staten Island. This area where I was taking them is called the Tottenville town in New York State. And it's the most southern section of New York State. And this little bit of water here, right, brings you across to New Jersey. And this is Perth Amboy, the town of Perth Amboy, New Jersey. And at one time, I don't know, 70 years ago, there used to be a ferry that ran back and forth because Perth Amboy had a lot of jobs over there. There are a lot of manufacturing jobs in Perth Amboy. And the ferry would take you back and forth for very little money. I don't know. I don't know what the price was, but I'm sure it was no more than 25 cents. Let me put the camera down and we'll go through some of the photos. Remember, the full resolution photographs of what you're looking at now are on my website, CarmineTaverna.com. It's a free website. Don't be ridiculous. Okay. Some black and whites. A little dust. Black and white photograph. These were all taken in the town of Tottenville. What this does is this shows you the capability of a 3 megapixel camera. Don't get all hung up on megapixels. Look at this. If I didn't tell you this was a 3 megapixel camera, you would never be able to guess. This is a leading line. All right. This was in one of my classes that I gave, right? Your eye follows this path naturally. Look at this black and white. Was taken with the 85 millimeter, right? Up close. This is a backlit leaf just in the park. I saw the sun coming from behind it and it lit up these leaves brilliantly. And I said, when I took the picture to myself, I hope that the green that I'm seeing comes through on the CCD sensor. And it did not disappoint me at all. Some more images. Here's a little close-up of a lantern beetle, which came to New York and are destroying thousands of trees. They just munch on trees and destroy them. This shot was taken with the 50 millimeter Nikkor 1.4. Just to show you what the camera can do. Here's a little close-up of some weeds. Actually, more weeds. Now this shot, but this was shot at 1.4, right? This is sharp, and it shows you the bokeh you can get on a shot like this. And one of the reasons you would do this kind of photography, where you would shoot it at 1.4, is if this is your subject, it would stand out. Because if everything was sharp, it wouldn't stand out. But since this is sharp and the rest of your photograph is blurry, background blur, called bokeh, it really stands out. And it does help that it's also neon green. This shot was taken through the red leaves of a sailboat. Just some ideas, but not only ideas, but what this class really is about is put your money in the glass. Okay? It's not important what you spend on a camera. Obviously, this camera was $200, right? What will make or break your photography is the glass. Look at the way that the f1.4 on this Nikkor, this 50 millimeter Nikkor. One of the reasons I decided to go out in the field with the 50 millimeter is a lot of you have the 50 millimeter, right? But look what it does at 1.4. Completely blurs out the background, makes this, I think this is poison ivy to tell you the truth, or poison oak. And it's beautiful. It turns such a beautiful red in the fall. Same here. Who knew weeds could be pretty, right? Those are the photographs I wanted to show you taken with the Nikon D1H. Now, comment below if you've ever used the Nikon D1H or any of these lenses. Also, I want to hear feedback. What do you think of the new setup with the monitor and the stand holding up the monitor? I'll tell you, one of the benefits of having a monitor on a stand is that there's nothing here holding it up. I still have control of the mouse. There's nothing to block you. My elbows still have plenty of room. Comment below what you think about the new setup here in the studio. All right, guys, subscribe, and of course, have a great day.